and so here's some important Torah. The first thing is, I'm just not going to do it with the Pesukim. It will be much more in the power of the Pesukim. If you want to see it chashuv, you look it up yourself. I'll tell you outside what it says. It says like this: the Rebbeinu Shalom says to Moshe, he goes, "Go talk to Paroi," and Moshe says, "Loi ish devarim anoichi." I'm not a man in speech. Gam tmoil, gam shulshain. Not yesterday, not the day before. Ki kvad peh u kvad loshen. I have a kvad peh and a kvad loshen, right? And then the Rebbeinu Shalom says kvad peh kvad loshen, and then he says shlach no biyad tishlach. You know that famous Rashi the Chazal say. He says shlach no biyad tishlach. Send. Here's how Rashi says, and the Medrash says, send someone to the Jews to talk, but send it in the hands of the guy you normally use. Aaron, my brother, send him. He's a talker. I can't talk. And Hashem says, I know, Aaron, don't worry. I don't need your advice. Aaron is coming. He's coming to meet you. You're going to meet him right now. He's going to talk, and you carry this stick. And Hashem gives him this mata likim, and you carry the stick. So this needs to be inside, so it's not inside. So I'm going to say this fast. I'll do the next one more properly. What's Moshe's speech defect? He says, "Loi ish devarim anoichi, kvad peh, kvad loshain." And next week's parasha, maybe it's later on here, he says, "Amaral sefasoyim." Hinani ral sefasoyim. So just picture this in your mind. These four phrases: "Loi ish devarim anoichi." I'm not a man of words. Kvad peh, I have a heavy mouth. Kvad loshan, a heavy tongue. And I'm aral sefasoyim, uncircumcised of lip. What's up with that? So how many speech defects does this guy have? 4. It's like they're all different organs. Lips, tongue, mouth, 3 different things. Aral sefasoyim is a problem with your lips. Kvad peh is a mouth. Kvad loshan is a tongue. Like, you didn't have 4 different things, so what's the word? So I think what's really going on, the pneumius is, and then what does it mean? He says, I'm not a man of speech, not yesterday or the day before. What is yesterday, the day before? Tmel Shulshan. What does that mean? So look what happened right before that story. What are the stories that we know about Moshe Rabbeinu before Hashem spoke to him by the snap? We know 3 stories. What are the 3 stories? The first story of Moshe we know is he goes out and he sees the Mitzri beating the Jew and he kills the Mitzri. Right? The second time he goes out and he sees Dasan and Aviram fighting and he gives them Rosh Hashanah Masakariyecha, he gives them Musar. And the third time he goes out, he runs away to Midian and the shepherds are by the well, not letting the girls drink, and he beats up the shepherds and gives the girls to drink. Those are the 3 stories of Moshe. So if you were to psychoanalyze Moshe, what do we know about the guy?
Madman.
Madman with a little overkill, but he's a tough guy. Is he Kol Yaakov v'Yadei Esav? Right, 3 stories. He kills the Mitzri, fights with Dasan and Aviram, fights with the shepherds. He's no leftist. Right? So that's what happens. Hashem tells Moshe, go speak to Paroi. And he says to Hashem, he goes, Lo ish devar melech. I'm not a man of words. Gam tmel, gam shulshay. Not yesterday, for just look at the stories. Like, turn the page back, 1 page. What did I do? I just beat up shepherds. I killed the Mitzri. I'm not a talker. I have a kvad peh and a kvad loshay. A heavy mouth and a heavy tongue. I'm that brutal mashkiach who calls you an oismar, you know? You're never going to mount it. That's who I am. That's what kvad, it's not a speech defect. And Loyish Devarim, he's telling him who he is. I'm a doer. Because you want someone to talk? Call my brother Ari. He's the man of peace. He's the sweetheart. He'll talk for you. And that's what it, but really what Moshe says is, what's the literal translation of the words without the medrash? Shlach no biyad tishlach. Translate it literally. The medrash says, please send them, but send them in the hands of the one you normally use, Aaron. What's taichert though? Shlach no, please send them biyad tishlach. What's literal translation?
Whacking.
What?
Whacking.
Send them by hand. They whack them. Stop with the words. I'm not a man of speech. Look at his whole speech. I'm not a man of speech. I'm heading out any tongue. You want to send them? 100% send the Jews out. But none of this negotiation. Just go in there, fire, shock and awe, and beat the crud out of them. And Hashem says, Yodati, I know. I'm with you. Aaron's coming. He's going to talk. And here's the stick. You take the mata leikem biyodecha. You go through it. This is the real story. The real story. And next week, later on, then when Hashem tells him to speak, he says, Amar al Sifasoyim. That's a speech defect. That makes sense. Al Sifasoyim sounds like a speech defect. In fact, in Kabbalah, they say that his speech defect, he couldn't say his own name even. Because the lip words, Sifasoyim, are Beis, Vav, Mem, and Pei. You can't do a Mem. Makes sense. Anyways, okay.
What about when he asks Hashem, who should I say sent me?
So then he says to Hashem, this is important Torah. So it says that Hashem, he says, Hashem, they're going to ask me, how do I know they're going to accept me? So Hashem gives him two. This is okay. Hashem gives him two signs. What are the two signs? He says, do these two things and then they'll accept you. The first thing is take the stick and throw it on the ground. And if you pick it up in your hand, it'll become a stick. And you let go, it becomes a snake. And you'll pick it up again. By its tail, it'll become a stick. That's the first sign. You can turn a snake into a stick. Stick into a snake. And then you take your hand and you put it into your jacket, and you pull it out, it'll be tzaras. And then you put it back in, it comes out healthy. And then you do those two signs, they'll accept you as a leader. So I want to make it very real. Sorry, what's these two signs? The two signs like this. The first sign is I have tape. I don't know what I want to say. So the first time I went to David Lichtenstein for Shabbos, so someone sent me there. He says this guy is good Torah. He likes to hear interesting things. So someone gave him my name, so he invited me for Shabbos. So he said, "So tell me some Torah." I said, "Let me hear what are you verkoifing?" So it was this week's parsha. So he tells me this var. He says, "You know what it means when the snake?" So. And he says, he told me a beautiful word. He says that when the snake represents your assets, your resources, and when you husband your resources and you hold them firmly in your hand, it becomes a stick. It becomes a functional thing. It extends your reach. You can accomplish amazing things. But if you don't take achrayus and manage your properties and manage your people, and it's called husbanding your resources, then it's a mazik. The more things you have, the more it'll destroy. It becomes a snake. He says that's what Hashem was telling Moshe. You have to be a firm leader. If you hold it, you take the people and you're in control. Then they'll become a mata. When you let go, let everyone do what they want. Anything. It's a good rule for life. So he says it goes. That's our heart. I said it's nice, but you have to chop. It's half of a heart. And half of a heart is dangerous. It's Hashem gave Moshe two signs. One was the snake and the stick, and that's exactly your point. Hashem said you better be in control. You're going to have a yeshiva, you're going to have a shul, you have a mishpacha. You have to help your people succeed. You have to be a responsible leader and force them to be successful. You let them go, they'll become like a nachash. But the other side's also true. If you keep your hands too close to your chest, and you keep everything too close to your chest, then you will stifle people and you'll crush them and you'll ruin their initiative, and your hand it'll atrophy. It becomes tsaras if you keep your hand too much in. You have to take your hand. You have to allow them the room to breathe and to have autonomy and to make their own decisions. So that's the two signs. What Hashem is telling Moshe, you want to be a leader, you want them to accept you. It's not a magic trick. He wasn't telling the snake. They're mishol. He's saying, if you will be the leader that will be stern enough and responsible enough to force people to succeed, but you're not going to crush them and take away all their initiative and all their autonomy. You're not going to, you hold them firmly in your hand, but you don't keep your hand so close to your chest. That in-between spot, then they'll accept you as a leader. Not pshat in the magic. Again, it's real. The religion pshat of this is that's the role of leadership. All leaders, till today. You have to know how to control things, to force people to succeed, but don't crush them. Don't let them lose themselves. Somewhere between holding the mata in your hand and keeping your hand out of your chik, and then they'll accept you as a leader. Those are the signs. But go back to your Surah Naver. That's what we spent most of the time on in the beginning.
Okay.
This what? You want to say something on this? Yeah.
How's the blood tie-in? How's the third sign? Shit.
Let's save the blood for the makas. Okay. Next week we'll do the makas, the first makkah. Okay.
We're back to Surah.
What?
Okay, so we're going back to Surah now. Right?
Yeah, so just on the Surah, I just want to say, like, everyone knows the famous story of Rabbi Akiva. You know? Rabbi Akiva, so the rock, you see the water dripping on the rock, and he says, if the water can make it a hole in the rock, then I can go to yeshiva, Torah can make a hole in my head, and I can come to Al-Chacham, right? Everyone knows that story? But what's the real story there? What's the real story? The real story is how many people in the world passed by that rock before Rabbi Akiva? How many times have you seen a rock in your life that has been weathered away by water or wind? And nobody ever went to yeshiva that came to Gadol Adar because of it. What's Rabbi Akiva's midah? A surah. And that's Moshe and Rabbi Akiva. This is Torah. Torah, the Tam Torah Shabbat, this is Torah. Torah, what makes you into a leader is a surah navera. Maybe the most important words in the whole Torah. The first time Hashem reveals himself, this is the Hakdamah of Matan Torah. This is talks. The first conversation with Moshe was why? Vayar Hashem kisar lerois. Hashem saw that he turned to look. So this is probably, if you want to know like the one midah to work on in life, this is the midah. To be sar lerois. The problem is like I started to say before, I opened the can of worms. It is the most important thing, but it's narish kind of talk about sar lerois. There's a reason why everybody's on with blinders on. Because they can't be wide-eyed. Because if you feel shame, you can't walk around with your eyes open. You need to be distracted. You need to not look. It's impossible to. Children are wide-eyed because they're innocent and they haven't done anything shameful yet. Teenagers squint at the world. Everything's like side-eyed. The difference between side-eye and wide-eye, they rhyme. They're nice. They rhyme, but they have like literally the biggest opposites in the world: wide-eye and side-eye. What separates wide-eye from side-eye?
Innocence.
What?
Innocence.
Who?
Innocence.
Or what's the opposite? Obusha. So to say be a noticer is the most important thing in the world. But you can't start with being a noticer. You have to start with Tara. And the second you're Tara, you become a noticer. This is really, I think, what Nevuah is. This is very important Torah. I'm not going to get to Bilam in time, so I'm going to still tell it to you now. It's such an amazing Torah. According to this is what Nevuah is. According to what I'm saying, the world's talking to you already. So if you want to know reality, you want to be a Navi, what do you have to do? Just be a noticer. Just a surah. But in order to be a surah, what do you need to be? You need to be tar. And the more tar you are, there's so many, we don't chop what total presence is. The more tar you are, the more you see. And the more brighter the colors get. And what you thought you were present, 2 weeks later, it was like, I thought that was present, that was so, it's like the noise, like I need earplugs, the world is so loud. That's what Tara does. We have until you get to Nevuah, we have no idea. The world is so perfect and so loud and so clear. We are dialed out because we're not tar. The more tar you become and the more you preserve it, the more you with the program, the louder the world gets. So the question then is, so how could Bilam be a Navi? I'm describing the Nevuah here as just what you get when you're so tar. Right? It's like you're just so pure that you hear everything. So how could you be totally physical? That's the image that really Hashem wants you to see. He's going to be a Navi riding on his donkey. The donkey represents chamrius, physicality. The whole point of the Nevuah is that you're disconnected from all the grubby things. You want to ride that's as ridiculous as a donkey talking. The donkey talking is being a Navi riding chamrius. It's a caricature. It's like you're asking to be a talking donkey. It doesn't exist. That's what Hashem is telling Bilam. It's like, that's how absurd this is. So what's a terrorist though? No, Bilam was a Navi. This is such a trippy idea. You know what it is? The answer is that there are two different beings. I'll say it to you like this. In the brachas in the morning, Birkas HaShachar, what's the first bracha? Hashem gives the rooster the knowledge to know when it's morning, the difference between day and night. And then what we do, we go through the whole day. Roikar tzalamayim, malbish aruvim. The halacha, some people actually do it. They make the brachas one by one. When you get dressed, you say malbashum. You step on the ground, you say roikar tzalamayim. When you stand up, you say zaykef kufr. You go through the whole day. You can make the brachas as they unravel. What's the last bracha? We go through everything. Tefara, Gevura, Yisrael, Coven. The last bracha is what? Ma'avir Sheina Me'ena. What's wrong with that?
It should be first.
We just went through the whole day. We already said that bracha. We called it the rooster. The first bracha is the rooster wakes up. And then we said, I'm not a guy, I'm not an eved, and then I open my eyes, and then I step on the ground, and I get dressed, and I go to work. Now I'm making money, I'm getting a little coven, you're giving me koyach. And the last bracha is Ma'avir Sheina Me'enoi. It's so messed up.
It's not physical sleep.
What?
It's not physical sleep.
Okay, I like to make things real. Make it real. Make it real. You know what the answer is? What's the difference between the first bracha and the last bracha? The first bracha is the rooster waking up, and the last one is us. What's the vart?
The rooster doesn't know he's awake.
The opposite. The rooster wakes up when the sun comes up. Because why? It's daytime, you can do things. The human being, he's still checked out. And the whole goal, and you know what, Hashem's like this, you know what, you're not a goy tzaddik, you're not an eved, and I'm going to give you a job, clothing, open your eyes, stand you up, you get a little covet, tefara, splendor, gvura. At the end of everything, you woke up, you went to work, you made money, you got shlishi, you made a siyam, you had a good kiddush, everything good. You know what Hashem says at the end? Okay, tzaddik, now are you ready to open your eyes? The goal of a human being is to get at the end of the game to the point where the rooster starts off. The animal kingdom has no shame. They live in the world. The rooster wakes up with the sun. The human being is always, even when we're up, we're not up. The goal is to open your eyes. That's Shemos. A perfect human is literally just where a rooster starts. It's okay, but we did it baratzon. We struggled our way there. It's an amazing aside. The rooster represents total wide-eyed, living in the ark. But there's another animal that knows when the sun's going to rise. Two animals know when the sun's going to rise. The rooster we know. The rooster knows when the sun's going to rise. He has a job to crow. What's the other animal knows when the sun's going to rise?
The animal that's up all night.
A bat. The bat knows when the sun's going to rise. Why?
Go to bed.
Well, because he can't deal. He's got to get out of the sun before the sunrise. He's got to be deep in the darkness of his cave before sunrise. There's two opposite ways to know Or. The rooster knows Or. Why? Because he loves Or. Can't wait for the Or. The bat knows Or. Why? Because he knows what he can't be cycle. There's two different ways to know reality. The person who loves reality, the mashal I use in yeshiva. And who knows when the sun's going to rise earlier? What?
Guys up all night.
Who?
Guys up all night.
I'm saying the bat. The bat, the guy who can't be soiva light, he knows when Nate's is a little bit better than the rooster. The rooster's not, he loves the light, but it's about now. The bat knows exactly what he's got to be out of the thing because he can't be soiva light. In yeshiva, the good guys, they know that the mashgiach's getting a shmooze today. They can tell him, they know already the look on his face. The way he walks around, the way he takes a safer, they go, oh, there's a shmooze today. You know who knows 10 minutes before them? All the late sonim who can't be soiva l'shmooze. They know exactly when the mashgiach is giving a shmooze, because why? Because they have to book out of there. The Havana of a bat knows reality even better than a rooster. There's two people who could design you the beauty of the world. The roosters and the bats. One of them knows the world by its beauty, by what he loves, and one knows what he can't be soivel. Bilam's nevuah, that's why, you know the smartest, you know who knows the world better than anybody else in the world? Who's the biggest pikchim? Smarter than any psychologist, deeper than any psychologist? Comedians. The comedians see things and nuances, and you listen, they got it. Like they're a step ahead of everybody. Because the Letz is the guy who needs to live in the dark. He needs to pull away the beauty of the world. So that guy, he knows reality. If you want to define reality, there's two people who could do it. The most tar person in the world can draw you a map of the beauty of the world, everything beautiful, but he just knows what's beautiful. And the biggest moshches in the world can draw you a map of the most beautiful world. Because he knows everywhere he can't go. You know, it's like inviting one of these college girls, and her roommate becomes a balas tshuva, to Neve becomes a balas tshuva, and she's getting married in Lakewood from a guy. You think your college roommates can go to her wedding? There's no way they can watch this girl, they're like, all these innocent, it's so painful for them. It's literally like a bat being forced to see the art. You can't ask a bat to go look at beautiful art. You know, it's way too painful. So when they hire Bilam, what are they hiring Bilam for? What do they want Bilam really to do?
Darkness.
Well, how? What do they want Bilam to do? They want Bilam to go to Klal Yisrael, and why is it so hard? They have to beg him? Because you know what it is to ask Bilam to come to Lakewood? Everywhere he works is like burning. It's like a bat walking around in Miami. You can't do that. Well, you know what? Every once in a while, Bilam will come to a spot and go, "Ooh, this spot's not so bad." You know why? What's in that spot? That's the coffee room. You know, the coffee room. Oh, it's already a little bit my color. You know, so they ask Bilam to come look at Klal Yisrael. Find us the spots that you could be soivel. If you want to know where there's a light leak, like you're opening a dark room, you're a photographer, you want to develop, I don't know, that's an old metaphor, nobody develops things. But you want to know where light is getting in somewhere, so you hire a bat. The bat, you look at all the spots where the bat is not going to go, those are all the spots with light. So you hire a Bilam to find us the Chesuaynes of Klal Yisrael. Any spot that Bilam could be soivel, and that's they keep on saying, that's not working. So he goes, Efes Kotseyu, let's go to the edges. I want to find like the coffee rooms, I want to find the Leidegers, I want to find, where's the herb, you know? They're going to find the herb, you know? That's what he wants to, and the villain can't find it. That's what he says, the bat doesn't find any spot that he's comfortable in. So this is the aside. Okay. So
Doesn't really explain the nevuah. Taga did have nevuah.
What?
He did have nevuah.
no, he knew the same way I'm calling nevuah being
So
Torah.
it was
So he could draw reality based on
So you just come from the other side.
another side, draw reality from where the darkness ends. If you look at the world, there's Or and Chayshach. So the rooster could draw you a map of the Or, and the bat will draw you a map. The rooster will draw you a map of where the Chayshach ends, and the bat will draw you a map of where the Or ends. But both of them, it's going to be the same map. There's two ways to have nevuah. The lowest person in the world knows the world maybe even better than the biggest tzaddik. Nevuah's Bilam could be a little better because it's a survival instinct. Anyways, but he never gets it done. But it's not part of this year. But he's still. So what would you do then if you Bilam? If you Bilam and you tried every spot and you went to the spot where you thought. There's one spot where, this is like Lover's Lane, where all like the at-risk kids would probably be like, he says, take me to 7-Eleven in Lakewood. And he goes, even 7-Eleven. Then he goes to the spot on the cliff where every guy is going to sit there in the backseat of the car, And even that spot, he comes back and he says, Ma toiv alecha Yaakov. So he comes back and he realizes, I couldn't find any spot. So what do you learn from there? If you really want to hurt Klal Yisrael, you can still win. You could say, I discovered that the most painful experience I had from looking at Klal Yisrael was Ma toiv alecha Yaakov mishkan Yisrael. So that's what you have to ruin. I didn't find anything wrong, but I'll tell you what their strength is. If you could ruin the Tara of their oil, and that's why they unleashed the girls of Moav and Midian, because Bilam couldn't find a dark spot. So where was their or? The greatest or was their oil. So let's ruin the oil. It's very hard to be tzaddikim because we're so vulnerable. Even if we don't have a flaw, they know what our strength is. So yeah, all right,